Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of The Green Factor, a show where we talk about green design and the business of sustainability. I'm your host, Haris the Green Carpenter, and today we'll be talking about artisanal revival, connecting past and present. With me today, we have Miss Jacqueline Fong from Tanoti. Hi, Jackie.
Hi, Harif, and hi everyone.
So thank you very much for coming in. I think a little bit of background why I bring you here is because like I've been following what you guys been doing for quite some time, and I love what you guys do, and I feel like more people need to know about you guys, the products and the cause that you are rooting for. So before we go into the topic, can you share to the audience a little bit about what you do and your journey and how you came into this field.
Well, first of all, thank you very much for having me. And actually, I agreed to come on your show because I want to learn from you. So I guess it's a mutual learning.
Sure, sure.
So I used to be a banker. I used to be an investment banker. And one day I was at a shopping mall and I met up with a friend and I got convinced to get into this little business of songket weaving. That was in 2012. So how we started was like that. My background is not in design, not in textiles, but actually in the, you know, basically trying to pursue an interest to preserve culture and heritage. Tanoti was born that way without a business plan, without anything other than the um, intention to keep weaving alive. And today we are engaged with more than 500 people, where we, try to keep heritage alive.
Understand, understand. So, what kind
Mhm.
of products that you guys make right now?
We are from Sarawak, so all the products are actually originating from Sarawak. We have songket weaving, which is from our workshop at Tanoti House in Kuching. And then we have rattan basketry, we have bemban basketry, beads. Um, and then during COVID, we started foods. So we have a food business as well, and all based on indigenous techniques where the
Mm,
people have been practicing certain skills or knowledge um, throughout generations.
mm. So, why suddenly from just deciding to make business out of it, why suddenly it becomes an activism and becomes more than that? So, why is this issue important to you?
Um, I feel like um, I feel like it's important because there are a lot of people here with a lot of resources, and the resources are actually not translating into like economic value. So it's important for me because I used to be a banker and I used to take money from people and give money to people who need the money. And now I'm doing exactly the same thing, but with indigenous knowledge. So people with indigenous knowledge and people who crave for indigenous knowledge or creating a market for indigenous knowledge is what I do. This kind of intermediation is very exciting for me. I think the value is in being able to convert certain intangibles or certain needs and fulfill certain needs and becoming the bridge. Do I make sense? Not
In a way, but it's okay. I think it's about your motivation,
yeah.
and then like what triggers you. Is it like because like for me, just to share with you, like we used to do we still doing woodworking and all that, but after doing the business for quite some time, and I saw more about the industry, and I want to know more about other timber related. Artisan and all that as well. So what I found is that there is a really dwindling number of like house makers, boat makers that were once used to be like the our forefather used to have a lot of boat makers and house makers, which now we don't have that much of the skill anymore because the younger generation don't want to take over the business or the skill. So that's why I make it a point to at least share that story and do my part in terms of getting more young people into the industry. Doesn't matter whether it's through the artisanal way or even to the woodworking or manufacturing way. So for me, it's um, that realization that we used to have this huge industry, huge boat making industry. We make our own like wooden houses, but now we don't have those skill anymore. Lah. So for you, like, what do you see in the current situation? What problems are the artisan facing?
Um, my situation is that a lot of artisans are living in rural and remote areas, and actually they have very little education. But what they have, which is very important, is education from their ancestors, and that's not being harnessed. So I'm unlike you. I think I feel like I am, as I said, a banker, right? I see potential, and I'm trying to help them increase the value of their potential, and by bringing them to market. Um, I I know a lot of people think that I'm very dedicated to crafts and all that, but actually I'm quite interested in seeing how well I personally do um, in taking on this role of making artisans more visible and giving them more economic power while they are in situ. Yeah, that's
Understand.
what motivates me. Not
Mm.
I don't have a degree in craft or anything.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
To rationalize why I do what I do,
Mm.
based on the background that I have, which is finance. Yeah, so that's what I'm doing. So I'm
So
like a
the in term of the artisan, like because you work a lot with them. So what do you see their problems are that you feel that you can help with?
I'm helping them to get richer and more empowered.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Understand. I
So
know.
okay,
Yeah, yeah,
I, yeah, you know, we just do what we do because we own our business. So our business is an empty canvas, and then we just do what we do, right, Harif? But
yep.
I noticed like I started going into the communities in 2016, or 2014 we started, but 2016 we did it really, really full time, right? Or very intensely. This is 2023, and the last intake of primary one students is the largest that SK Long Seridan has seen. So I would like to credit myself maybe for being able to deliver like economic power to mothers, right? So that they can buy school uniforms, school shoes, can afford to pay for the transport to send the kids to boarding school. I think even education is cheap or free, right? There's a lot of ancillaries that are required, and I believe they can afford it now. So this
Mm.
is me. I'm not into the artistry, but I'm into the can I make you rich?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think for me it's interesting. It's interesting because we need to what you're doing is somewhat correct in a way that we are making sure that the economics or the business model work so that they have all this capability and money so that they can enjoy a better life. And
Yeah,
because a lot of people when they operate a social enterprise they see it like an NGO. Are
yeah.
you consider like NGO normally they would want to ask for donation and all that. There's nothing wrong with that. if you decided to go into the social entrepreneurs side, you need to look into the money and cents, because this is what to make sure that whether the business model works and we're just not operating as an NGO and it doesn't solve the long term problem. So like I agree, like the idea is we need to look into the how to make them more like you say, more rich, or get out of the B40 and those kind of thing, because that will help them into the long run, the next generation and all that. So um so that's why right now when I do not coaching, but when I consult companies, social enterprise and all that, I told them like, your cause is one thing, but you need to make sure that the business work. You need to look at it as a in the money standpoint. Is your cash enough? Is your business profitable? Is your marketing good, sale and all that, and not just use your cause as a selling point. So I feel that more, if you want to go into the social entrepreneurship, you need to look more into not just the cost, but more of the business side.
Yeah, but you're right. You're right. Actually, the business side is actually what greases the wheel. Then it will be a well-oiled machinery. It will function and it'll be sustainable. But
Mm.
for me, the question that you ask is, what are artisans facing? And my answer to you is geography. They are so far away that they have no access to what urban people have. Number one, gainful salary, a thriving or buoyant ecosystem or market. They don't have that. So that is the problem that they're facing, and that is the kind of problem that we're trying to solve. Yeah.
Understand.
Mm.
So when you do all this, like you're doing a lot of social work or like giving back to the community and all that, and at the same time you're running a business. Um, there is there is a how do you say, there's a lot of trial and error. So because this is not a standard business model cookie cutter, right? So there's a lot of like production you have to solve and all that. So in your experience, how do you think that you can survive this long, and what works for you?
I think what works is a system. When you're small, you can like run havoc and you have no system, right? But what really works is when you have put in place a system that works. You have an like a system to administer your business, to administer the artisans, to administer payment. There's some sort of a SOP so that people can follow. I think that's so important, and people don't put enough emphasis on that. I personally maybe only 70% satisfied with the system that we have. There's obviously room for growth, but every time we put in place a new system, we immediately feel the relief in like time cost or resources. Mm. So what's important is the system. I don't know. I think your system might be better than mine, but we started from like dreaming, and now we have a system.
Yeah, I'm lucky because it's a family business, right? So some of it are already in there. But of course, because the products that we make are a lot different than before, so we have to change everything, all the system, all the way we think, and so that is a challenge on its own.
Yeah.
And then normally people are resisting to change and all that, so that is another issue that we feel is challenging lah, but I'm sure everyone goes through that. And like you say, system, like for us as well, we have around 45 staff right now, and
Wow.
like 80% is below 35, so we have a lot of young people here. So handling them as well is another system on its own, which we are still upgrading as time now. But I do agree that system. And I think for me personally, my mother always like put in me like, everything you do you have to system. So I grew up in system.
Oh my
And
God. You should play in
yeah,
the
so
lockdown.
yeah, so in the business lah. So but of course lah, like system ni, because we are creating it, so it's like it's always work in progress, always like, oh, actually the system doesn't work, but we've been using it for a while, right? So that's part of it lah.
Yeah,
But
we used to have a lot of Excel spreadsheets, like Excel
hmm,
spreadsheet for this, Excel spreadsheet for that, and then we can't find it, like what we want to find, because like we label the file differently or whatever, and it really gave me a headache. So COVID gave us time to like figure out what we wanted to do, and then we got like a coder friend, and we programmed our own artisan management information system. So
wow,
with 500 over artisans, we know exactly at one point, at any point, how much money they make now, how much money they, how much product they have with us, how much product we have sold, where the product has been sold, what kind of product is the best selling for from any particular artisan or any particular village. So right now, I can give you my impact report just like that.
nice, nice,
Thanks
nice.
to
I
COVID.
think that's awesome, because right now when we talk about businesses, it's always like I give you the accounts reporting or the business reporting, which
Yeah.
everyone can do that. But when you talk about impact and all that, not a lot of company would want to put effort into it. So kudos to you and your team, because that sounds like an amazing system, because we can monitor, and this is where right now we want to measure the impact like in real numbers, not just on
Yeah.
the air, right? So this is okay, this is the number of people that we work with, these are the number of products that we sell. That's awesome. And I think more people, especially impact companies, should look into that. But of course lah, it's quite difficult to set up, to do all that if you are startup. But
Need
as
another
you grow,
COVID.
you need to have that lah. As you grow, you need to
You
have
need
that.
another COVID. And then your friends are free, you are free, everyone's free, your staff can do data entry. Is
Mm.
I have the COVID to thank for this, and now it's so easy, any artisan can call us from anywhere and ask us like, oh, what can we do next? What sells? What doesn't sell? Do you owe me money? Do I owe you money? And it's
It's the
fantastic.
data lah. Awesome,
Yeah.
awesome.
I mean
So
it's not real time, but we update, daily or weekly or whatever. Yeah.
yeah, I think you have touched a little bit on your challenges, but let's dive a little bit of what is like the big challenge for you actually right now, and how do people can support your cause, or like how can you be better at what you're doing?
My biggest challenge is actually development because my field is in craft. And as you know, all our people are in the rural areas. And once you bring roads in, telecommunications in, all sorts of infrastructure in, then obviously the opportunities are so much more for them, and they will abandon, craft, right? Or anything that's done by hand, or whatever lah. They will just abandon it, and then they'll go to the city, or they'll become an influencer or something. So that is my challenge. So initially I was, like, or currently I would like to be able to give them more income or good livelihood from craft. But very, very quickly, the pendulum to change will change. And then they will have like tar sealed road when they've always been having muddied road with like lubang everywhere, right? How do we then, as a company, become an advocate or for craft so that people who are doing craft will continue to do craft? So that's my challenge. And actually, my
Mm.
answer to myself is like you just give them more money. You price the
And
craft higher, you pay them
correct.
more, and they will become for custodians of their heritage. But they
Mm.
need they need they need to have economic power to do so, lah.
What
Yeah.
about the age of your artisans? Like normally, are they like on the younger side, or like how does it work right now?
Um, we don't discriminate.
Mm-hmm.
So we have like very young weavers, which in a kampong. So anyone can weave, anyone can like do work with us. I think Bia is like 11 or 12 years old this year, maybe already from one. I'm not sure. And then we have people who have like five generations under them, 80 years old, 85 or whatever, and we still take their work.
Mm.
So we're very inclusive. We don't like males, but any female is welcome. Because your fingers are very big, so you can't really.
You can do working lah.
Yeah, we send them to you. Ketek, ketek, ketek.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But of course lah, certain skill requires certain kind of people or type of people that can do. Um, like even for us as well, when we because we do things that are big like tables and chair, but we also do something like so small like butang, baju Melayu, or like very small things. And normally the smaller things, the women do it better lah. So that's why like I think it's not a sexist thing, but sometimes it's just the skill set and more like detail lah. Bila the guys do, they like the QC out sikit. So they just need to do the big stuff. Big stuff okay. Small stuff they cannot. Yeah, so that's my farm challenge lah. But as of now, we are seeing. Last time it used to be a lot of male in the factory, but now we have quite a good number of women as well. So it's quite a
Oh,
balance, and I feel like because for us we want to have more local use participation, because it's been in my industry, the woodworking. It's is a lot of youth don't want to come into the industry because it's more of a 3D industry and all that. But for us, because we do several other things and to attract them and maintain them, so we managed to get a good number of them coming in lah. So for me, it's like um, they will be the one that will be leading the industry in the future, because right now a little bit of statistic of my industry, the wood industry. Malaysia has one of the largest wood industry in the world, but most
really?
of the yeah, Malaysia export to more than 160 countries.
What?
But a lot of the workers in the industry are mostly foreigner. So that's why,
Oh,
like for us, we want to at least have more local participation, and these are some of the things that we do lah. And most of them comes from the B40 community as well. So it's like giving them skill to be able to elevate and also have uh, like upgrade the woodworking profession lah. So right now, a lot of parents, they don't want their kids to go into this craft and all that. So this is one of the way for us to show them, okay, there is career in the industry. There are good things happening in the industry. Like for example, our product has been to more than 20 countries, and we work with brands like Ferrari, Coca-Cola, Rolls-Royce. So these are the things that give them pride in terms of what they're doing, like what you're doing as well. It gives them to see that their products are being appreciated and all that. So I think that helps at least the younger generation to come into the industry, rather than no what do you call it, next generation are not in the industry, and the younger generation are actually the easier to teach about sustainability rather than the older one. So I find that work for me lah.
that's good.
Yeah, so I think for from your side is like the challenges of development, like you say. So how can like people contribute to that? So what do you need in terms of what kind of support do you need?
Um, uh, Anyone is very welcome to buy my business.
Oh, pump money, right? Pump money.
But actually, I'm trying to evolve the industry as well.
Mm,
Because we have development, then we actually should make use of this development and instead of see it as a threat, right? It becomes an opportunity. So we're rolling up like a tourism potential in these villages or these communities. It's still very raw, so it's actually very beautiful to visit, especially as a tourist. I mean, a tourist as opposed to someone who has to work like me, right? A tourist will just enjoy. Um, and then we want to do experiences. So in our capacity, we're already quite influential. We will be able to try and garner some sort of following. Do conferences, some sort of exhibitions, that kind of thing. During COVID again, we did an awards, not awards, sorry, a digital fashion week, and then we got like weaving communities from all over Southeast Asia to participate. So it's things like that, where we create market awareness, and then obviously it filters back to the communities, right? Not only do they weave, now they host people who want to
Mm,
learn how to weave or learn their lifestyle. Not only do they weave, they will also be able to contribute to advocacy. Maybe they can perform their crafts. So there's many ways that an artisan can continue to survive being an artisan. And we
mm,
turn the challenge around and turn it into an opportunity.
awesome, awesome. So, I think you have touched a little bit on the future thing. So, what are you looking to explore more of, like more of the tourism side or product side, or you're just gonna try everything?
Yeah, I'm gonna try everything. um, I find we do songket weaving, right? I find that our songket is so beautiful and so amazing, and like why are not why our songket is not really um going towards high-end fashion. So I'm trying to make a go at hand-woven songket going into high-end fashion. So my future plans for craft is basically going to Paris. We want to
Nice,
try
nice,
we want to try to go into Europe um,
nice.
via the capital of fashion.
So, why do you think it hasn't Malaysian hasn't like really built that place there in like Europe, for example? Like, why other countries are doing better? Is there any from your research or experience you think?
I don't know. I think there is a disconnect between like what who is our spokesperson here and the guy on the other side, like the buyer at Christian Dior. Like, who is the spokesperson for Malaysian Songket, and how are they communicating to the fashion designer? Like,
Mm,
how are they communicating with Tom Ford or Alexander McQueen? Like, why are they not um, able to tell the story or bring, deliver, such a fantastic product? I
So,
haven't
is
seen.
that middle connection where we don't have, right? Or we are
Uh,
not, because we are not directly with them, right?
yeah, I think there's a still disconnect in how we present our fabric lah, or our wares. People in Africa are already doing it. Indonesia is already doing it. It's very hard to see like a Malaysian, other than yours, by the way. Yeah. So we want to be like you, Harif.
Hey, I think you should be you, like you say, like you should be you. And I think like for us, I always talk to a lot of other entrepreneurs as well. Like the market is big, so we need to see how where is our place in the market. Like for example, like you said, like your product is quite niche, and you you want to scale it not in a like mass way.
Yeah.
So whoever have your product, they should be proud to have. It's a privilege for
Yeah.
them to have. So that
I
one is
we need like a different audience for our product.
correct.
It
So that's
shouldn't
why
be
like
the
we
same
we
audience.
need to understand like where we are and like how we want where is our place at least in the market. Like even for us, for me is like how we can grow in a sustainable way and also scale. So for me, it's always scale, but how we scale to is something that really for us to look into and all that. So we know our own strength. Like if you try to be me, you won't be able to do it. I cannot be you. So I think it's the place is so big, but the idea is communication and like how we can support each other and how the values that because our motive is the same. We want to we have a cause that we want to contribute to, and that's what makes us different than a traditional business where it's just about making money, right? So we need to have this more conversation between us, and this is why I try to be more. I work more with social enterprise. I do this show, for example, so that we have all these dots connected. Because I just share with you why I do this show as well. Because I have one side from the corporate side or the buying side. They said like very difficult to find sustainable or ethical things. Like some of them can make, but it's not a lot for the consumer as well. You said because I always say like buy green products and all that, and then they ask me where to buy and all that. So okay, I have one side with demand. They said they want to, and then I have the another group which is the entrepreneurs that say like, Malaysia have no buyer lah, it's not ready lah, and all that. And then I say like, okay, so why don't I make a show so that within my network I can connect both, like the buyer and also the supplier. Same as last time. Last episode I talked to CIMB, the head, the sustainability head lah. So they have a program for ESG company and green company, but no uptake. So there is support there. So that's why, like for the audience, some of the audience are entrepreneur and social enterprise. So this is the chance to connect. So I think we need to have more of that, and online and offline. But of course, we like for me, I'm only one person. So that's why, like for us, is to create this movement where everyone talks to each other and solve different kind of problem. And that's why, like I get to make awesome people like you, like Edric and Deborah as well. So we need to have more of those lah, and share story and share. Actually, what we need is share semangat.
Yeah.
Right? Sometimes it's
True.
like so
Support
down.
group.
Support group. Yeah, I think let's do that lah. Nanti we do. Okay. I think sorry. We are at the end of the show. So thank you very much everyone for tuning in. Jackie, thank you very much for your time. So for the audience, if you want to know about what Jackie does, you want to support her, go to LinkedIn. You can search Jacqueline Fong. Or if you want to buy or know more about the products, go at tanaticraft.com. Yes. So I can vouch for the products. It's awesome, and I would love to see how we can work with your materials as well. So
Yes.
we are at the end of the show. Thank you very much, our audience. If you like the show, please share it. And as always, see you next week. Have a green week ahead. Bye bye, guys.
Bye. Bye, everyone. And thank